Hey, Patreon Smile Olympus Reptiles. We're still here with Judd. And Judd, like, I mentioned how you're kind of a Kansas legend. You got all kind of like flushed and you're embarrassed by that. But the truth is, my purple haze that we have at Manhattan Reptile World on display right now, that came from you, correct?
It did.
So this is not your first foray into producing really rare animals.
No, I've tried to stay with neat stuff. I think's neat.
Right. But I mean, let me pick your brain a little bit. Tell me about some of the first rattlesnakes you produced, because I think that's amazing, because I'm a Crotalus guy, and how involved you were with all the genetics of Crotalus just blows my mind.
A friend of mine produced a lot of the really cool color combinations we have today, and every year a new one pops up, a new color pops up we hadn't seen before, and it's just pretty much standard breeding. I mean, it's been really nothing tricky. The genetics are there. We just have to get the genes out.
And the funny thing, guys, is when I first met Judd, he was here at Conn's Reptile Show, was it 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him, I was showing him some stuff, and he had some Gila monsters, which are just captive bred Gila monsters, right? Which is like mind blown. And we got to talking, and come to find out, you produced my purple haze.
I did.
Which is amazing. So, I've heard those called purple haze, or called bubble gum. They have a few different names that are out there. But those are a Kansas thing. So we tell you Kansas is like really underrated in reptiles. It truly is.
It is.
So you got those coming. You got these rough scales coming. You've had a lot of other things from John coming. Dave Karnowski. Dave, get over here. I'm going to make him come over here for a second.
And we also produced the first third generation green anacondas.
So third generation green anacondas. This guy right here was one of the guys. So when you saw my How to Sex video, I literally learned that from this guy right here. And he can be a pain in my ass. I love him dearly. This is Dave. And Dave has been responsible for right here in Manhattan, Kansas, producing a lot of first animals, correct?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
It's hard to even remember.
So this is probably one of the best guys I know. He's on a cell phone, which is a terrible video.
I just got look at. I'll show it after you're done.
For yellow bellies. So I learned all my yellow belly stuff from here. I learned a lot of my curl stuff right here. Guys, if you're not involved in Kansas herps, you're missing out.
We're not just garter snakes anymore.
We're not. We're really not. That's a great point. So a lot of the coolest Atrox stuff right here from Judd. Early ball python stuff, and you've been involved in Burmese and reticulated and everything else. Scaly Dave Karnowski. I mean, everything comes out of here. Plus this show that we're filming now. You put this on for how many years now?
It's our 12th year.
And I guarantee you.
It's just as stressful.
It's been a good show. It's always been a good show every year.
I guarantee you're not going to go. I just came from Daytona Beach, right? You and I have both been to Tinley together. Have you ever seen a rough-scaled python at Tinley?
I haven't. Yeah.
You haven't. And they were
I
at
know
Tinley.
People produce them in the state, but you just hear about it. You don't ever get to see them.
And I will tell you, this was at Daytona Beach, but only for one reason, because my buddy Judd was there. You're not going to find these anywhere else. So if you're skipping on Kansas and you're thinking the coast are where it's at, man, you are missing the point. The Midwest is completely, and since this is Patreon, I can swear, the Midwest is a shit when it comes to reptiles. California, Florida, all those coasts, I will challenge you. You can't hold a candle to what we can do with a lawless population here. Because we got guys like Dave, we got guys like Judd, we got guys like John. To hell with them. I don't care. I'll open the can of worms. Okay, I'll blame this. So Dave parked at my table right here, which is by the beer tent. That's why I'm opening a can of worms. I quit carrying about, 3 hours ago?
Yeah,
probably about 3 hours ago. I'll give this thing back. It feels so weird crawling. You can feel like the bumps on the scales. Crazy. So if you're missing on Kansas, I want you to know that Manhattan, Kansas, and Wichita, Manhattan, and Kansas City, 3 awesome reptile markets. Of course, Manhattan being located in between the two, right? We got Manhattan Reptile World, we got the Conn's Reptile Show, we got a really cool reptile zoo. Wichita has, Judd, it has John Stoltz, the Tails and the Scales.
Yeah, he's up in Salina.
I'm from Salina.
Yeah. Salina. But you work with John a lot, right?
I work for him for a living.
For a living. So you got Salina, you got Wichita. Salina's about, maybe 45 minutes from here to an hour?
Yeah.
So you got so much right here in the Midwest. Stop sleeping on the Midwest. Pomona can suck it. Daytona can suck it. It's right here in Kansas, guys. I promise you.
We're not a flyover state.
We are not when it comes to reptiles. And I guarantee you, nobody in Florida, not even my friend Tom. And Tom, I love Tom Crutchfield. You know what Tom Crutchfield doesn't have? He doesn't have rough-scaled pythons. He ain't got those.
He has Mangshan vipers.
He does. Those things are cool. He's also got free-range rhino iguanas. I can't call him out too much. But guys, don't sleep on Kansas, and don't sleep on the. I mean, we would not have the westerns we have if it wasn't for Judd. Don't run away on me. He's getting all shy. That's what he's doing. He doesn't like credit. But I want Kansas to get the credit. I want Judd to get the credit. I want Dave to get a little credit for putting this show on for us here at our
Thank you very
local
much.
community and growing this thing up. How many years is it? Well, it says 10.
This is,
Old, so 12. 12 years. And a little town of 50,000 has been put on a reptile show for 12 years. How many vendors do you have today?
Not very many.
Don't say that on video. Jeez, it's terrible advertising.
It was very well represented.
Yes.
500.
500. We had 500 vendors. Okay, maybe you have 50. 50? We'll go. We had 50
guys are
vendors.
waiting on me to
All right,
go
guys.
eat.
Thank you so much for watching.
He's
I just
babbling
want to
now.
say Kansas rocks, and Dave should never put me by the beer tent. Yes, he should. And I'll see you next week. I'm gonna walk off on that.